So let's stop pretending this is complicated. After trial, looking at this evidence, there is a 0.01% chance Tory's DNA was on the. That's a difficult statistic to equate with the story as told by the prosecution, which may be why this was not present in trial. In fact, there were 3 people that night at the scene who tested positive for shot residues. One of those was Kelsey Harris, as Gianno mentioned, the assistant to Megan Pete. According to multiple sworn testaments that you've heard today, including one from the bodyguard and driver with Harris on the 2 days of the trial, Harris admitted to the weapon during an emotional outburst. Let's be blunt. This prosecution had everything to do with headlines and very little to do with truth. It was about symbolism, not substance. And that should concern every single one of you here today. It was about symbolism, not substance. And that should concern every single one of you here today. Sacrifice for public spectacle, we all lose. Sacrifice for public spectacle, we all lose.
Family, what up? Hey, it's real, y'all. It is so real. I want to thank everybody that comes to the channel, y'all. Real talk. I want to thank everybody. You guys keep coming, I'll keep producing. I got so much to say. I don't know where to start. I've never been this worked up before. Upload, bro, chick, sis, sus, whatever you want to be called. Pay attention to the climate. If we accept anything, they're gonna give us anything. We knew this Tory Lanez, we knew from the jump it wasn't right. When are we gonna start taking the issue to the right places? When are we gonna start petitioning as far as on paper and think signatures and stuff like that? Not getting corns on our feet, blisters on our feet, because we want to walk around with signs. No. We don't do things to our own neighborhoods or nothing like that. And this is why I respect Charleston White. He took it straight to the people. Unfiltered. No fear. Listen, if we keep accepting anything, they're gonna give us just that. Everybody's walking around here so happy about these black women statues. Cut it out. In my opinion, it's nothing but a trigger to something greater. You got these art pieces around these places. I don't even know where they are. I haven't even looked into it, because when I seen it, I seen through it. Listen, that's a trigger. It's also a stereotype. I've seen, I don't know if these are AI or whatever. I've seen bonnets on them. I've seen bellies hanging out the bottom. They're letting us know what they think about us right there in our faces with art. And we think it's cool. Now you got to think about this. The trigger part. You got to think about the other people and what they say, then how we'll take it, and then how we will respond. Look deeper into this stuff that's right in front of y'all face. Too often, people want something just to talk about. And that's where they get us. We just want a story. We just want to talk in the beauty salon. We just want to talk in the barbershop. We want to talk on the block. We want to talk in the trap. We want to talk while we cooking up. We want to talk while we bagging up. And we want to talk while we serving. Y'all better cut it out. Listen. 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 Ida B. Wells, Michelle Obama, Maya Angelou, Mae Jemison, Marie Bethune, Tarana Burke, Bessie Coleman, Marsha P. Johnson, Shirley Chisholm, Rosa Parks, Skip Oprah, Ruby Bridges, Skip Serena, Althea Gibson, Claudette Colvin, Augusta Savage, Barbara Jordan, even Simone Biles, the gymnast. Why can't that be art in the city? Why does it have to be city girls? It looked like the projects, those statues. We need to get them taken down. That's not art. It's a clear depiction of what the overall system thinks about us. How can you eat that up? How? And I'm so in my feelings. It's crazy because this Tory Lanez thing. The truth is, even my commentary, we told you what it was. Her music videos, the symbolism. These folks said it was symbolism. Listen to what these people say, y'all. Listen to what they say. Listen to what they say. Don't just hear it. Listen to what they say. Please don't listen too hard. All I can see, y'all, is the snake eating the little rap dude in her music video. Who in the hell is the snake? And who the hell was the rapper? But she turned into the snake. Come on, man. You better make this make sense. I'm gonna shut up. I've never ran it like that. I've never been so worked up in a YouTube video. Usually I'm just cool, chilling on cloud 9, literally. I'm tired. I'm tired. People accept anything, and our people look so bad right now. I don't even think y'all get it. Let's get to the video.
All right, everybody. First off, my name is Caesar McDowell. I am the CEO and co-founder of Unite the People. We're a nonprofit organization that promotes social justice as well as provides affordable legal services for the underserved community here in the state of California. Today, we want to thank everybody for coming out, all of the press, all of the fans, everyone that's here today. We want to say thank you for coming. Today, we're going to hear some really, really compelling new evidence that you've never heard before. Our legal team will explain all of that to you. We will have updates on Tory Lanez, Mr. Peterson, on how he's doing. It's really sad to see the situation that he's in, and we think it's time. Enough is enough. It's time to bring the brother home. So with that, I would like to bring up our lead consultant, Mr. Walter Roberts.
Good morning. We are here today to bring to your attention some information Unite the People believes is exculpatory in Mr. Daystar Peterson's case, professionally known as Tory Lanez. Recently, we've been made aware that a member of the media, Mr. Gianno Caldwell, was working on an op-ed for the New York Post regarding Mr. Peterson's innocence. During his work on that op-ed, he became aware of some information in Unite the People's possession regarding a statement that was given to Unite the People by someone with information relevant to that case.
Shout out to bro. Shout out to bro. Real talk. Shout out to him. Shout out to them. But don't focus on so much of the evidence that we haven't seen before. Focus on what you know. Focus on what you know. Focus on what you questioned. Why were the fragments or the foot or the whatever, the wound, why does it look a certain way? Why can't we see? Why, when this, listen, y'all, there was a family, there was a victim to this, a witness to this, because they had a ring cam or a camera on their property that filmed it. This family would not turn over that footage because they didn't want to be a part of it. How in the heck? And I wonder if they turned the footage over now after they see. Imagine, think about that. You got footage that could make a man free. You got footage that could make a man free. You got footage that could help a person not be charged in something. Now this person was hit up 14 times. 14. We got to look at everything, y'all. The things we question are the things that are about to come out now, are the same things that is going to set this man free.
The New York Post recently reached out to the prior district attorney, George Gaston, Megan Pete and her representatives, and Kelsey Harris and her representatives. The only party that responded last week was Megan Pete's representatives with a request for more information. A few days later, Mr. Peterson's brutally attacked in his jail cell. Unite the People represents Daystar Peterson in his appellate process. We filed an appellate brief and a writ of habeas corpus on his behalf. The district attorney's office has already responded. The case is fully briefed. We're just waiting for the appellate court's decision. We were willing to wait for the appellate process to play out, but given that brutal, unprovoked attack, we felt it necessary to come here today to provide you with this information. It is our intention to make a request to the governor to either pardon or commute the sentence of Mr. Peterson, so that when he recovers from this attack, he's not returned to a jail cell, but that he's allowed to go home and recover. Not long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Miss Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Miss Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Miss Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case. For example, there were 3 potential suspects in the car that night, and yet the only DNA sample was taken of Mr. Peterson, even though unknown DNA was found on the gun. Why wasn't Miss Harris's DNA taken? Or was it taken and the information simply never given to the defense? Why wasn't the driver of the car, Mr. Jaquan Smith's DNA taken? Or was it taken and again, simply not given to the defense? We don't know. It should have been taken. It is Unite the People's understanding, regular LAPD practice at a crime scene like that, anybody who's there, the DNA is taken. Another irregularity. Why, at Miss Harris's police interview, was a non-lawyer, non-family member record company executive allowed to participate. Highly irregular situation. Normally we see cases, strangers are not allowed in these things, but it was in this case. All of these things point to the highly irregular nature of his trial and his conviction. It is our contention that he was wrongly convicted. And while we at first were willing to let the process play out, it is our contention now that if he is not pardoned or released promptly, he may never come out. And that would be the ultimate injustice, is that he gets killed in prison for something he did not do. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Gianno Caldwell, media member who was working on that op-ed for the New York Post. Thank you.
This was one of the first things that I questioned when I heard about it. The fifth. She pleaded the filth. Fifth? Nah, that's a Dave Chappelle joke. Pleaded the fifth. Why? What did you plead the fifth for? What actions are you trying to conceal? But Tory was stupid enough to try to be a stand-up man for some thoughts. Let's be real. Bigfoot ass Megan and this little thought sidekick. That's why he was on the Kardashian at the party when he was with both of those thoughts. And that's what made them both mad. You got to think about this. Tory's Meg's best friend. Fast forward, Tory's Meg. These three go to a party together. Tory's flirting and whatever back and forth with the Kardashian chick, probably thinking about. So now you got this big behemoth that thinks she's the shit. Salty that you won't leave the sidekick, the help. But then we go here and you go for the other. On top of me supposed to be in the big behemoth, Bigfoot. Me supposed to be being the shit. I guess that's how Meg looks at herself. I don't think she really looks at herself like that. I think she's really self-conscious and not too secure within herself. But put all that together, y'all. Let me shut up. Let's get to the next clip.
Thank you, Walter. Good morning. Thank you for coming today. My name is Gianno Caldwell. That is spelled Gianno. Caldwell, Caldwell. I am the founder of the Caldwell Institute for Public Safety at caldwellinstitute.org. I am also a member of the press for almost a decade now. I've been looking into Daystar Peterson's case for almost 6 months now, professionally known as Tory Lanez. And after reviewing the evidence, the reporting, and the legal analysis, I've come to the conclusion that Tory Lanez was railroaded by the former district attorney, George Gascon. He was also wrongly convicted. I believe if Jesus Christ was Tory Lanez's attorney, George Gascon would do whatever in his power to ensure that Tory Lanez lost that case. Tory Lanez's defense team have alleged the withholding of exculpatory evidence, prosecutorial misconduct, among other issues that I was compelled to write an opinion piece for the New York Post. It is true that last week, the New York Post editors reached out to 3 parties, one being George Gascon, Megan Pete's team, and Kelsey Harris. It is also true that Megan's team was the only ones that responded back for that request for comment. I had some glaring questions, and that was the reason for this op-ed. Things didn't make any sense to me, many issues in this case, and I was shocked by the lack of interest from the media to ask very simple questions. There were multiple people with gunshot residue on their hands that night. Why didn't all individuals have the residue tested, their DNA tested on the weapon? That's a legitimate question. According to the prosecution, Tory was excluded from the clip of the gun, and according to Tory's defense team, they said DNA analysis showed that there was a 0.01% chance that Tory touched the actual gun itself. Another piece that stood out to me, the call that the prosecution alleged Tory made confessing to a crime. I listened to that call. I'm sure many of you have as well. I didn't hear a confession. But what really shocked me about it is if my best friend was shot maliciously by someone just 2 to 3 hours before, I wouldn't have answered the call, or if I did, I wouldn't calmly have a conversation with the individual of it. And certainly I would ask, why did you shoot my friend? And more importantly, I would never have given you my current location out of fear of you finishing the job. That was something that stood out to me. I also, in my op-ed, discussed Kelsey Harris pleading the Fifth Amendment. She wasn't accused of anything by Megan Pete or the police, and to my knowledge, she wasn't under any investigation. So why plead the Fifth? What also shocked me is the prosecution gave her immunity. For what? What did she do? Is there an allegation of her doing something? I'm not aware of that. Maybe some of you can answer that question today. During the time of trial, George Gascon, just to take you back to where we were at that particular point, he had just barely won a recall attempt. He lost support in many key demographics of voters. Crime was up in Los Angeles County. And this case would have been a silver bullet for him potentially winning. His policies obviously were bad and people were harmed. So that didn't happen, and thank God it didn't happen. At the heart of this injustice is the misuse of gun enhancement charges, a sentencing tool intended for the most dangerous and violent offenders. In Tory Lanez's case, these enhancements were not supported by evidence. But George Gascon, interestingly enough, who is someone who regularly would drop enhancements or not recommend them, chose to provide enhancements to Tory. And in his case, in any given situation, according to legal analysts I've spoken with, he would do 1 to 3 years if he did it without the enhancement.